Dear Mr. Soldier, dear Mr. Law Enforcement Officer, this is your wake-up call. Your wife is going to leave you. It is your fault. It is your fault that you have PTSD. It is your fault that you have depression, that you have anxiety, and that you have panic attacks. It is your fault that you joined the military, that you deployed, and that you served your country. It is your fault that you joined a career field that puts you in constant stress and puts your life on the line. It is your fault that you joined law enforcement knowing what that meant. That half the country hates you and that you're constantly battling people that don't want you there. It is your fault that you haven't dealt with these issues. That it's been years of ongoing stress and neglect that you got here. It's time to take accountability of your situation. Real quick, my name is Josh Barker. I served 13 years in the Army, 10 years as a Green Beret, medically retired, and now I'm in law enforcement. I chose to serve my country. I chose to continue to serve my country, knowing what that meant going into law enforcement. I constantly put myself in stressful situations because that's just who I am. I'm a person that needs to serve in some capacity. I know it's nobody else's fault but my own that I have the issues that I have. For years, I didn't accept accountability. Going through the deployments, the training that I went through, very stressful and demanding on my body. And broken, not just my body, but my mind too. For years, I blamed everything else but myself. Oh, I can't go out. I'm anxious. I'm irritable. I come home and I shut down because I don't want to affect the people around me. That's not okay to do. It's not fair to do on your kids and on your wife. They need you there and you have to be present. It took rock bottom for me to understand I have to make changes. And rock bottom for me was when my wife at the time had left me. And like most men, it messes you up. That's when I started seeking therapy more than I did before. And I started making changes and I started looking inward and asking the questions, why did this happen? I started in 2012 wanting to better myself. Knowing that I was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety, I started looking ways to better myself. And then ever since then, I've gone through more trials and tribulations. I had my ups and downs, some worse than others, but I always looked to better myself. I never got down for too long. And we're all allowed to have our moments, right? Life hits you, and sometimes you don't feel like getting up. But guess what? There are people that depend on you. Right now, I have custody of my kids, and they depend on me. your spouse depends on you. And if you don't step up, if you don't deal with your issues head on, she's gonna fucking leave you. She needs a man, and she needs you. She needs you to address the issues that you have and look for you to be present there. So throughout the years, I look for ways to help myself. So there's 3 things that I noticed that helped me throughout the years. And number 1 is therapy. There's no way around it. You have to go to therapy. And I'm telling you, man, there's a stigma out there in law enforcement world and, you know, the military world. Real men don't go to therapy. And I'm telling you right now, that's a lie. You have to go to therapy. You don't know the issues to the full extent that you have until someone that is trained professionally lets you know. You don't see everything. You just see all the stuff that's going inside your body. And I know, I get it. It's frustrating. You try to open up to people. You try talking about it, and you're met with resistance. You're met with people that don't really understand. But it doesn't mean you give up. It means you go talk to someone else. Try talking to people that can relate with you. But also, go see a therapist. That's when I first started seeing real change in my life. They can't really relate with you on the scale that you're hoping that other people can, that have been through the same thing you've been through. But they know other ways to help you that other people can't. So again, go to therapy. We need to change that stigma that it's weak of you to go see therapists, because it's not. Right? Second thing I'm going to say is go find a hobby. And you have to be busy, right? Idle hands does the devil's work. So doing nothing at home, your mind's going to be circling over and over and over, whether it's about situations on a deployment or situations on a call if you're a law enforcement officer, or just in general. You're just spiraling out of control sometimes. And so you need something that keeps you busy, and that's a hobby. So find a hobby that can distract you, but also help you reflect on what's going on. Something that helps you process it. So for me, it's the gym. And I've talked about this all the time, but I go to the gym, I get my aggression out, and it fixes me. It's like a reset switch for me. That way, when I get home not irritable, I'm usually in a good mood after I hit the gym. I recommend men working out already as a regular thing. All men should work out unless you're unable to. Then find some other way. But you should be working out consistently to better yourself. Other things that I know that has helped other men, soldiers, law enforcement officers. I'm only speaking from my experience and from the people that I knew, but a lot of people take up hunting, but you can't do that year round. A lot of people take up fishing. I knew a lot of guys that took up fishing when we got back from Afghanistan. It's one of the most peaceful things you can do. And you can do that basically year round. But find a hobby. You know, I know some guys that are hardcore bikers, and that's another way to stay in shape. But find something that's healthy and that you can do almost every day. Explain it to your spouse, hey, I need to fix myself. So I'm going to go do my thing. And I've already covered this in a previous video, but you doing your thing also means you got to let her do her thing. She's doing you a favor, man. I mean, in a sense, if you do this consistently, you do have obligations to help out with the family, the house, the kids, stuff like that. And if she's letting you go to the gym every single day or letting you do your thing, then you got to return the favor. You know, let her go out, let her decompress. You're not the only one that needs to decompress. Being a mom is also a full-time job. I can speak on that because I have my kids full-time. And that's a full-time job in itself. But let her decompress. Get your hobby. Find something you can do, whether it's woodworking or welding or, you know, making knives. I knew a guy that picked up making knives. He created a little forge in his garage and he started making knives and started selling them. I don't think he made much for a profit, but it was something to keep his mind busy. Look for something. Your job that I'm telling you to do right now is look for something you can do on a regular basis where you can go to if you need to fix your mind and stop taking it out on your family. And I'm not saying you have to be yelling or name calling or belittling or whatever to take it out on your family, but by you not being present and shutting down, you're taking it out on your family. You're basically placing this burden on your wife to take care of the whole household when it's your job as a man to step up to be the provider and protector of that family, of that house. And the last thing I'm gonna say that really helped me, and it's been a game changer this past year that I've noticed, is have a morning routine. I know a lot of people speak about morning routines and it's almost cliche to talk about nowadays because everyone talks about a morning routine. Then you get on the other side of the fence where people are like, oh, you don't need a morning routine, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you what's helped me. I'm telling you things that has helped me and someone that has experienced traumatic deployments, 2-year-long deployments as special forces, watching teammates die and watching Afghan locals that I befriended die, returning home after a terrible deployment, buddies killing themselves that you're close to, and then now being affected on a level you can't really understand. It starts to take a toll on you and it starts to take a toll on your family. So I'm going off of my experiences. So with that being said, a morning routine has been paramount for me. And I know since I've been trying to fix myself since 2012, I've gained a lot of progress the first couple of years. And biggest thing is addressing the situation, addressing the issues that I had. But it never stopped there. I continued to read books. I continued to look up, you know, blogs and posts and talk to people, not just a therapist, but buddies of mine. And I've continued to learn. But a morning routine allows me to put myself in the right frame of mind before everyone wakes up. I have 4 kids. I get myself ready at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do my morning 15 minutes of calisthenics. And then I get my kids ready. But giving myself an hour to an hour and a half before everyone else wakes up allows me to set my mind in a right frame. I like to wake up in the quiet, in the silence. It takes a while for me to really get ready for the day. And part of waking up, my morning routine, yeah, is the 15-minute workout, but it's the silence. It's my time where I allow myself to be thankful for the things that I have in my life. Because to be honest, I shouldn't be here. I can't tell you how many times I should have died in Afghanistan. And to be grateful for the things that I have takes away my anxiety. So I wake up and I'm just thankful. Thankful that I woke up. Thankful for the house that I have, even though I live in a construction house right now because I'm remodeling my house. But I'm thankful that I have it. I'm thankful for my kids. Even though it's stressful having them 95% of the time, I'm thankful for them. Because if I didn't have them, I'd be destroyed. So I'm thankful to be healthy. I'm thankful to have a job, even though the job people hate. But you gotta find ways to be thankful and appreciative. And that sets your whole day up. I noticed I've somewhat became dependent on my morning routines because the days that I don't wake up in time and I'm not able to do the stuff that I want to do, it kind of messes me up rest of the day. So it's hard to be dependent on something like that, but it helps me. So I'm going to continue to do it. Even on my days off, I'm waking up at 4:30 because I know I'm a better person when I do that. And another thing, and I'm going to touch this in other videos, but you have to find your why. And a lot of people talk about, the same thing, and it's cliche at this point, like I said, about something else, but find your why. Your why has to be strong enough for you to make changes in your life. Sit down there and think about what it would be like if you lost your wife right now. If you lost your kids right now, what would it be like? What would that feel like? Actually feel it deep down in your body. If your wife left you right now because you're not stepping up to be the man you're supposed to be, you're not taking accountability of your shortcomings, of the issues that you have. If she left you right now, what would that feel like? What would it feel like if she got custody of the kids? What would it feel like if your life was ripped apart in half and you're left with the scraps? Is that a big enough motivator for you to make changes? These are the things you have to think about. These are the things that are going to push you to do great things. Those things help me. It takes us to hit rock bottom sometimes to make the biggest changes in our lives. I've hit rock bottom more than once, several times. Why do we have to wait to hit rock bottom to make these changes? The good news is you're not too broken, but you have to put the work into it. You guys have any questions? I'm gonna I'm gonna put my email at the bottom of this. Don't be afraid to reach out. I enjoy helping people. I've helped several people in the military when I served, and I'm continuing to help people as a law enforcement officer, whether it's coworkers or if I go to a call and someone's distraught, someone's upset, whatever. I'm always giving advice. I'm always trying to help people. This is just another platform for me to help people. But you're the one that's got to do the work. All right?